this, and the Spaniards were like, yeah, we're here to save you. But I think that since we're talking about UFOs and technology and maybe the whole ancient aliens and technology mythologies, I'm probably going to go a little bit against the grain here. Because a lot of these books and articles that have been written over the years about this subject always go for the low-hanging fruit when it comes to trying to prove their point. Particularly, the pyramids of Egypt or other megalithic types of structures that are found scattered all over the world. And I really do think that this does kind of do disservice to the human species, because we're a smart species, and as long as there have been humans on this planet, there hasn't been really that much of a change between with our intellectual capacity. Yeah, now we're more technological, and we've developed all these wonderful machines and electronics and things like that. But if you were to take somebody who lived even 10,000 years ago, a human being from 10,000 years ago, bring them to now and raise them, they would be indistinguishable from a modern person. All right? So that means that they may not have had the technology that we have today, but they still had the brains, and they were able to figure out things that, despite how smart, we think we are, we haven't figured out how they did it yet. And then that includes, like, the pyramids and all those fantastic structures, say, like in Central and South America, where these huge stones are stacked on top of each other with such precision that you can't even stick a piece of paper or even like a credit card in between them. And, you ask engineers, well, okay, you ask the archaeologists, how they did this, the archaeologists will say, oh, well, you got a bunch of people with ropes, and they they pounded it away, with slightly harder rocks and everything like that. But if you ask an engineer how they did it, an engineer will be like, we really don't know. So I trust the engineer viewpoints more so than the archaeologists, because they're the ones. So, when you think about these ancient technologies, take into consideration first that humans are pretty smart, and a lot of the things that a lot of these popular books and television shows attribute to possibly being built by aliens, probably not, in my opinion. They were built by smart people who figured these things out because they had to. And as somebody pointed out to me one time, when it comes to these giant structures, is that they didn't build them because it was hard to build them. They built them because it was easy. So you look at these huge structures and you think they consider that easy, when we can't figure out how they did it. So, and that's not to say that at some point in our far, far past, we didn't get some kind of assistance, one way or another, from somewhere else, the others. However you want to interpret that, whether they would be visitors from other worlds, other dimensions, another species of humans on this planet that developed first. That's one of my favorite things to talk about, is that more than likely there were other technologically based civilizations on this planet before humans. Now, the humans have been around a long time, probably a lot longer than our fossil records indicate. But there were probably, when you look how old the planet's extremely old. Humans have only been here, they like to say, we've only been here in the blink of an eye. Well, a blink of an eye is too long. We haven't even been here a nanosecond compared to how old this planet is. So I think that it's more than likely that there have been a number of different technologically based races that have developed on this planet. And who knows what happened to them? Maybe a lot of these ancient stories are true. Maybe they did, blow themselves up or do something sinful that, at least according to their interpretations, created some kind of natural catastrophe. Or maybe as some scientists suggest that a civilization can reach a certain point, and then they can either continue on or they can destroy themselves, which